Well, good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? Pretty good here, and welcome to the channel. Hey, I want to get on here today and talk about the Tundra, specifically the double cab versus the Crew Max. I've had both. I actually have the double cab right now. Now, the reason I did that, I wanted to try out the double cab. I like the looks of the double cab, although I'm not sure if I like the looks as well as the Crew Max, but we're going to get to that in a couple of minutes. So what should you consider if you're looking to buy a new Tundra and you're kind of, it's a toss-up for you for the Crew Max or the double cab? Well, first of all, let's talk about aesthetics right off the bat, because the first thing, at least for me, that draws me to any vehicle is what does it look like, right? Now, I had mentioned I'm kind of up in the air, really. I think that the Crew Max, you know, the four full doors, actually looks a little bit better when you lift it than the double cab does. I've had, like I said, I had a cement Crew Max for about a year and a half, something like that. And after having the double cab for a while, I do think I lean a little bit towards the Crew Max. Now, I know that's not a huge consideration for most people, depending on what you need, is probably going to be better. But like I said, that's the first thing that you see when you walk up, right? What it looks like. Next is the room that's inside and what you may or may not need. The Crew Max is cavernous on the inside. I mean, there is a ton of room in that thing, and if you put the seats down, you could sleep back there. Now, that might come in handy if you're a hunter or if you like to go out on overnight trips or things like that, and you don't want to sleep in a tent or any of that stuff. You could throw some sort of an air mattress or padding or something in the bottom of that Crew Max with the seats up and be relatively comfortable in there. Now, if you have kids, or if you haul around a lot of adults, definitely a plus on the Crew Max side. Like I mentioned, it's cavernous in there, and it's just more, there's just more room to move around. You just feel better in the back of the Crew Max. Now, I don't spend a lot of time in the back of the double cab, to be honest with you, but I know that from throwing groceries and hauling a few things back in there, it's just not as big. It's not as roomy feeling as the Crew Max is. Next is the price. You know, obviously the price of the double cab is going to be less. It's just a little bit less truck. So you're going to pay more money for a Crew Max. Now, all of this, of course, depends on what you get as far as options go. I mean, if you get a loaded, you know, tricked out double cab, you're going to pay more money for it than if you just got a base Crew Max. So you kind of have to look at what you're going to put in it, I guess, for an apples to apples comparison. But if you take the two trucks side by side, you're going to pay a little more money for that Crew Max. Next is resale. Now, resale on the Toyotas is phenomenal anyway. But if you pay more for the Crew Max, obviously, it's probably going to be worth a little bit more if you go to trade them off. So if you trade them frequently and you're looking for something that's going to hold its value or maybe be worth a little bit more when you go to trade it in, I would say the Crew Max is probably going to be your best bet there. Now, why? Well, like I said, first of all, you pay more for it when you buy it initially. It's just a more expensive truck. And secondly, since today's trucks are really kind of taking over the SUV market. In other words, they're more family haulers than they used to be. You know, trucks years ago used to be only used for work. You know, if you had a farm or if you needed a work truck for your job or something like that, you would pick up a truck. You didn't get it to haul around the family in, to take a cross-country trip or something like that. But we do today. And again, given the size of the Crew Max and how many people it holds, just worth a little bit more, especially out there in the family market. Now, storage and hauling. As I mentioned before, the back seat area of the Crew Max is huge. So there's a lot more room to put stuff inside of the truck. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there are going to say, well, you got the bed. Who cares? Throw it in the bed. Well, there are things that we haul, like people or pets or big screen TVs or groceries or you name it, that we don't want to be exposed to the weather. If it's raining outside, it's going to be wet, or if it's snowing or icy or anything like that, or maybe even things that you don't want to freeze, to get too cold in the wintertime or too hot in the summertime, depending on how long you're going to have whatever it is you're hauling back there. Last is, do you travel? Do you do any traveling around? Again, the more space, the better, obviously, right? You have more room to stretch out and move. If you drive cross country, and if you do it often, like a trip from, Ohio, Pennsylvania to Disney a couple times a year, once a year, whatever it is, where you throw everybody in there and take off, you're going to want more space. A couple of reasons. One, you're going to be hauling people, maybe kids, and you know how it is when you throw kids too close together? It makes the trip not a lot of fun. So give them the room to spread out a little bit so they're not right on top of each other. They'll get along better and you'll have a better trip. Also, you're going to have to haul luggage and stuff. Now, if you don't have kids, or maybe you only have one, you can throw the luggage right there in the back, right? I'm talking about in the back seat of the cab area. So it's not exposed to the weather. Now, you could get a tonneau cover if you want to put that in. Then all bets are off. You can throw all your stuff in the back and still have the bed open, or the cab open. But a lot of the tonneau covers I've seen out there, even though they fit pretty well, I don't know that I've ever seen one that doesn't leak. Now, I'm sure somebody's going to prove me wrong. They're going to come on here and tell me they've had a tonneau cover for 480 years. That's a long time. And it never leaks. Well, I have no doubt that that's true, but a majority of the ones that I've seen, comments that I've gotten, I don't think I've ever heard from anybody who didn't have some kind of water leakage under that tonneau cover. So is it really a good place to put stuff or anything that could get damaged? Yeah, probably not. You probably want to go ahead and put it inside the cab. So what's the bottom line? Like I said, I've had both trucks now. I had the Crew Max, I have the Double Cab. What do I prefer? Well, for just myself and what I do with it, it's not a big deal. I don't haul around kids. I don't haul around a lot of people. Anything that I've gotten so far fits nicely in the back of the double cab. So I didn't need to spend that extra money for the Crew Max, other than just to have it, I guess. But if I had some little ankle biters out there, that I was going to haul around, I would definitely opt for the Crew Max. If not for anything other than my own sanity when we're all driving around together, you know what I mean. Now, the other thing is, it feels a little bit bigger. So if that makes any difference to you, it feels bigger to be driving the Crew Max because it's just a more cavernous feeling inside. So if you're sensitive to the size of trucks these days, and they are huge. The Tundra, no matter what you get, is a pretty darn big truck anyway. So if that is something that you're concerned with when you're driving, you might want to take a look at the Double Cab. Which one would I get now? I would still opt for the Double Cab. I do, if I'm being honest, I do love the appearance, or like the appearance of the Crew Max a little bit better, but that's an aesthetic thing. It doesn't really change how the truck drives for me, or really how I feel inside it. Like I said, the Tundra is a cavernous truck anyway. And when you're just sitting in the front seat, you don't really feel what it's like in the back, so it doesn't really matter to me. It would if I had passengers, like I mentioned, but I seldom do, so it's not that big a deal. Anyway, just wanted to get on here, talk about that a little bit, give you guys a little bit to consider. Maybe things you hadn't thought about. If you're in the market and you're looking for one or the other, get what's going to suit you the best. Get what's going to make you the happiest. And remember, you can always go smaller, but you can't go bigger once you have the Double Cab. Something to think about if you're in the market and you're looking. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. What was your determining factor, if you bought one or the other, in getting what you got? Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. and we'll see you next time on the web. Have a great day. Bye.